work to get the electoral system changed at the local level and get people elected to state legislatures who will change the way we vote for president and members of Congress, because the Constitution, again, gives that power to the states. And eventually, we'll have a system where we control the government instead of these big money folks controlling the government. That's got to be our end game. And how long it takes depends on how much resistance we get and how hard we work. But that's our job. Another question. Yes, sir.
It was 20 years ago.
The mic is not only for the people in here, it's for the listening audience.
It was 20 years ago that the U.S. Air Force incinerated the two poorest, blackest sections of Panama City, Chorrillo and San Miguel. Was that genocide? Was that slum clearance? What's your take on it?
Well, the little rape of Panama, like all the others that have gone on, seems to have been meant primarily as a punishment for a CIA hireling dictator who got a little too independent. Just like Manuel Noriega, just like Saddam Hussein, and so many others. Certainly Osama bin Laden. It makes me wonder how much evil we're going to do and how many American lives we are going to lose mopping up after the CIA's mistakes. But I think that's my take on it. I don't think they had anything particular against those poor Panamanians, but they did what they had to do to punish and get rid of somebody who was no longer doing their bidding. There may be more to it than that, but that's all I know.
I got to test some weapons too, some new weapons.
Right. Do you need a pen?
Right now, it seems like the other side has all the money and bullets. What makes you think we can pull this off?
What other side has all the money and bullets?
The people we've been talking about all evening.
Yeah. Well, we have to remember, they may have the money. They don't have the bullets, because most of the bullets belong to people in the Army and the military services. And it's my belief that if some dictator of ours, we expected it from Dick Cheney and it never did quite happen, but whether it's Barack Obama or somebody in the future, if they declare martial law and want to get all us dissidents rounded up and put in their concentration camps, who are they going to get to do the job? I believe that our military forces, our young men and women in the military, and the officers who control them, will circle us and point their guns outward to protect us from Blackwater. I'm thoroughly convinced that by far the members of the military recognize their duty to the Constitution. And this is further evidenced now by the Oath Keepers, which is an organization including active and retired military and law enforcement officers in this country, who, in recognition of their oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, have taken a further oath to disobey any orders to disarm American citizens, arrest American citizens, incarcerate American citizens, when those citizens are only exercising their constitutional rights. There's 10 promises that the Oath Keepers take of orders that they promise to disobey. I, by the way, am working to get them to add one more to that list, and that's that they promise to disobey any order to engage in a war of aggression.
Well, I hope you're right. I think they'll use foreign troops to do this because I think they're too clever. They know that their own troops probably wouldn't do it.
Well, I'm not sure that they would get away with that. If they do that, I think you'll find the U.S. troops protecting us from the foreign troops. Hey, guys. Sadie, I know you enjoy playing. Oh, she loves that little dog. Yeah. Yeah. They're loving it. Both tails wagging, they're playing, but they're a little distracting.
One big happy family.
Yeah, yeah.
Another question?
Yes.
Colonel Bowman, my question goes along with your letter to the Pentagon, and I thought that was a very bold statement you made at that time. We were at a precarious time with the Military Commissions Act and all those scary things that they were literally putting down on paper. I mean, that was the scary part. We know they do these things, believe these things, would do it, but to write it down was pretty shocking, and I think you had a great counter to that. But I always my view of the military, and I grew up in a defense contractor family, was that the military is run by the senior NCOs, the master sergeants, and the colonels. You know, your colonels are your operational commanders, and the only difference between a colonel and a general is the colonel won't play the game, keep his mouth shut, and become a member of the CFR.
Amen.
And have a globalist view of things. But they typically run things. So, and I've got a friend in here that's another Vietnam pilot that's in the back over here. And, you know, I just wanted to ask you, what do you think? How's the military fall on this? I mean, are the colonels with us? Are the NCOs with us? Is it just the four-star inner ring, you know, Pentagon generals that are for this? Or how do you think it falls down?
Well, actually, during the Bush administration, it was obvious that we had a lot of four-star generals and admirals on our side. And if we had not had, there would have been an attack against Iran. But we had several four-star generals and admirals retire early or resign and publicly said that there would be no attack on Iran on their watch. As for the colonels and sergeants, they're a mixed bag like the rest of the population. But I think compared to the population at large, probably more of them are with us than you would find in the population at large. When I ran for Congress, my chief of staff, as I called him, and he still sort of is, and Veterans Affairs Advisor, is a grizzled sergeant from the Marine Corps who survived Khe Sanh in Vietnam. And the two of us make quite a team. And we're not alone. And it's hard to say, you know, what the ratios are. Probably the most prone to just go along and follow orders are the new recruits fresh out of boot camp. And a few years ago they took a survey of Marines fresh out of boot camp, and they were asked, if you were ordered to turn your guns on American citizens, would there be a circumstance under which you would obey that order? And about a quarter of them said yes, which is shocking to a lot of people. But about three-quarters of them said no, which is very encouraging to me. Because if there's any group likely to just go follow orders, it's Marine recruits right out of boot camp. But the higher you go up the chain